Hi, I want to show you how to make a brush because that's a really great option to have. I have a picture here, an image that I took about a year ago of smoke. And I've made lots of smoke brushes because I spent a little while with some friends when we did some photographs of smoke, and they've been extremely useful. So I'm going to make a brush out of the top part of the smoke. So first of all, I'm going to come in here and just crop it down to just the top part. This isn't a completely necessary step, but it'll just make things a little bit bigger on screen for you. Okay, so there's my smoke. All right, first of all, you want white background with something darker for your brush tip. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a hard-edged brush here. So the brush will be the shape of whatever is dark in the image. So I'm going to invert this, Command or Control I, or you can go up to Edit, Image, Adjustments, and Invert, right there. Okay, now I'm going to open up Levels, Command or Control L, or Image Adjustment Levels up here. And I want the white background to be white all the way around. I'm going to end up having to paint right at the edge, but this stuff is not really white. So if you click on the white eyedropper here and click close to the smoke, see how everything's kind of brightening up? Even that. So that's pretty good. I like that. All right, click OK. Looks pretty white. Then I'm going to use my default colors, D for default colors, and X to switch to the white brush. I'm going into a brush. I don't need that one. I need a little soft edge brush right there at 100%. And I'm just going to taper off around the edge to get a white edge all the way around this smoke. Okay? All right. Now I want to go to the rectangular marquee tool up here and surround the smoke that's going to be the tip of my brush. As long as it's 5,000 pixels or under, you should have Define Brush Preset as an option. Give your brushes a name, round smoke, and click OK. All right, so now it'll be, there is your brush preset. So if I fill this area with black and paint with white, there's my smoke. Okay, pretty cool, right? Okay, so let's look at what else we can do. I'm going to come in here to the window for brush settings. Now, if I were to go over here, let me get brush settings out of the way here for a moment. Close tab. Okay, if I were to go and paint with the smoke, I'm going to make it smaller by using the left bracket key. Again, I'm just going to fill this so it's black. Now, if I were to paint smoke, it's going to write over itself very quickly, so I don't get like little puffs of smoke unless I click separately. I can't just draw. All right, so what we want to do is to make this smoke usable without having to click, 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 just paint. So again, I'm going to go up to Image, Brushes, and Brush Settings. And right here is where you have the spacing. So I can make the spacing of the smoke longer, larger, so that the brush now won't write over itself, okay? I can also change the angle if I want. And I can change various other things depending on the brush. But this brush just has basically those two settings plus the size and flipping. All right, so now I can also tell it, if I draw along a line, I want it to jitter or change, vary in size. And I can control that by pen pressure if I have a tablet, or by fade. The number of fades is the number of times the tip is reused. So if I were to put in fade, it would be 25 times it would change. So in other words, if I come over here, every 25 times it would go down to nothing. See how that just fades right off? I'm going to do it by pen pressure, right there. You can set a minimum diameter, And you can angle the jitter on some brushes. I'm going to do that here, and the roundness setting. So it's going to really vary that size now. See, it's really starting to get varied. If you go to scattering, I can also make it scatter off of the axis. So see down here the little preview? It is scattering so that when I draw a straight line across, the stuff that's on the line is not consistent. And I can also change the count. Now you can see how I'm getting more of a column of smoke. The other thing you might want to change, well, there's a lot of things in here you can play with depending on the brush, but transfer gives me an opacity jitter, so it'll vary the amount of opacity in the smoke. So I get it, so it fades off and on. So I'm liking that. I'm going to stop for now, get that out of the way. Again, fill my background with white, and now as I paint, you can see I get something that's really much more smoke-like, and just with a single stroke. That was with my trackpad. So if I'm going to give you a nice demonstration here, you go. There's smoke. I can change the color. It will become a different color smoke there. Let's do a little bit more vivid color there, so I can have like different color smoke in there. I could have a little gray smoke in there. So you see how you can, with a very, very simple brush, make it very, very dynamic and very interesting. So rather than that just clunk of smoke, which was going to draw in a straight line across, writing over itself, go in and change a few settings and you really get an interesting effect. That's how to make a brush. Other things about a brush, let's go up to the brush window, brushes, right here. I want to save this brush. So I'm going to go over here, new brush preset, and go smoke column. Now my other one that I made when I just went to edit and define brush preset is still there. It's not going to erase that. This is just an iteration of that. Now I can do the size as a preset, and I can also connect it to a tool. So this would be the brush tool if I were going to connect it to it. I usually prefer not to because I want to select my own tools, and then click OK. And now you have the smoke column here as one of the brushes forever. As long as you save your brushes, I can come up here and put it in my smoke and splash brushes, and it's going to be there for as long as I want it. There we go, smoke column, couple of different smoke brushes there that I've made. You can see down here, I've got the feather one. I made a whole bunch of feathers. There's another smoke brush. That's the one we made originally. And then we had the edited one. So you can save all your brushes in folders here, groups, and you just make a new group by clicking on there, naming it, and then drag your brushes into that group when you make them. So a lot of new features here, relatively new features, only a year and a half old with Photoshop, that make brushes organization so much easier and make it so much better to find them. So that's it for brushes.